In today's world, the need for sustainability is speaking. Not only it concerns the individual, but also the nations. Even the UN has recognized it and created 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Hello everyone, myself Pratish Vidyarthi, and today we got Reeti Kulshrestha, ma'am, with us. Ma'am is an expert in the field of sustainable development and our esteemed faculty member. Hello ma'am.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Ma'am, today we know that you have published a book named One Water, One World. It delves into the critical challenges and solutions for the sustainability development, particularly in regard with the water.
Yes.
So I would like to know that what inspired you to write on SDGs?
Thank you so much for calling me here for this wonderful opportunity to share about the book. I think what inspired me to write on sustainability would be the fact that, in fact, we are quite late in actually acknowledging the importance of sustainability. So this is the right time probably to come out with a book which talks about something which is as endangered as our own lives itself. So when we talk about sustainability, we have the 4 pillars when we say the economic sustainability and the social sustainability, economic sustainability, and finally human sustainability, right? So this book actually talks about the collective action, the importance of collective action, and how all the stakeholders are supposed to be actually responding to the challenge of how the world is endangered today. So it's not just about one enterprise, it's not just about you and me, it's about everybody, right? So I think SDG is something which is now connecting all of us. So that's why the book. Yeah. Thank you.
I totally agree with ma'am. If we have taken steps for this before and we wouldn't be this late, maybe it wasn't the pressing concern these days.
Yeah.
But from pressing concern, I would like to carry on that what do you think are the pressing challenges which will be there in the way of sustainable development goals in achieving these goals globally?
So I think the most important challenge for all of us in terms of sustainable development goals would be SDG 6, which also is related to what the book is all about. So we talk about water. So water is one of the most basic needs of all human beings, right? For many of us, it's a privilege. So we think that, it's our right to have clean water. It's a given thing for all of us, many of us, right? But we all forget that at the same time, there are people who are actually desperately struggling to get clean access to water, to just be able to drink clean water, right? So when we talk about the most pressing challenge, I think because water is a life savior and because we need to save water, conserve water, and we're still not doing it, it is a fast depleting resource. So I think the biggest pressing challenge would be access to clean water. Yeah.
Just for the audience sake, I would like to tell that SDG 6 refers to clean water and sanitation. It is a UN recommended sustainable development goal and it is recognized by UN.
Yeah.
For the next question, I'm personally more invested into this question, that how did you come up with this title, One Water, One World? Like what's the story behind it?
Okay, so I think again it brings me back to the second question, which was that I wanted to write on something which is very, very integral to all of our lives. So there are 2 things which are integral to us. One is water and one is air, isn't it?
Yes.
So when we talk about water, I think the most taken for granted is water, because we think that we'll always be having water to drink. But then when I actually went into the field and when I actually went into the the environment where these people were, and especially the marginalized sections of society where it's very, very difficult to actually get clean water. Yeah. So can you imagine, we get this water that JanaJal is providing. It is a bucket of 10 liters of water, 20 liters of water rather, of rupees 5. And what is the price that we get? We get it of, so 1 liter is 20 rupees, right? So because that same kind of amount is not possible for people who are living in society where their lives are difficult. So for such people, it is important to understand that there are all sorts of people from all sorts of society, and water is a necessity for all of us, isn't it? So I think this is why probably the title, which is One World and One Water, so not the other way around, but then because we are talking about water, it becomes One Water, because one water is the basic need for all of us. So I think the book sort of democratizes water. Yeah.
I think that ma'am used only 4 words to explain a very big and large topic, which is creating an impact on global basis. But you talked about that there are discrepancies in the rate which are coming to the suppliers and which are coming to the receivers, the customers.
Yes.
So you also talked about that this book can impact the policymakers and
Yes.
academicians and youth. Would you like to show some light on that?
Okay, so I think we are here in the book. We are talking about three stakeholders rather. We are talking about policymakers, we are talking about academicians, and we are talking about the youth. That is you. So in terms of policymakers, I think because the book is talking about 9 socially innovative practices, I think there are a lot of things that the book has talked about in terms of the challenges, the enablers that has actually helped the enterprise, do it all and cross all the challenges and come to a stage where they are actually able to serve to the society. So I think there are a lot of recommendations for the policymakers. There are a lot of insights for policymakers as well, because they will be able to see that these are the challenges which I've come across. These are the obstacles. These are the enablers for the people. So I think they are all cues to actually making the society more equitable, more socially inclusive of all. Yeah. And then talking about the academicians, so I think because it's been a longitudinal research spanning over 5 years of research, so I think there has been a lot of field work there, and I think in terms of academia, there is a lot of intersection which has happened between social innovation, entrepreneurship and sustainability. So there are a lot of such future research avenues which are open to the academicians, because we are all researchers by nature and we would all love to go to the field and gather some some actually deep insights. So I think lot of research avenues there for the academicians. Talking about youth, I think this book very, very significantly talks about youth taking up entrepreneurship as an employment opportunity, as a career option, right? So because the world is so changing in its dynamics, the youth also have to become somewhere open to actually taking up entrepreneurship. So the book is also talking about individuals, about youth who want to get empowered on their own. And so I think that's where the opportunity lies, and that's where the whole book is also about the youth. Yeah.
I think it's going to be very helpful for our audience to think about this way. And it's great for the youth as well, that if they can work in this aspect for the sustainable development, it can create many impact, especially for a country like India,
Yeah.
which is youth-driven country.
True.
At last but not the least, I would like to know what was the overall experience you had while writing this book.
Oh, I think wonderful experience, a very transformative experience rather for me, because it was a long overhaul. It was 5 years. It wasn't easy. So there were a lot of field visits. There were a lot of actually deep insight into life itself. Because you live in a certain society. You live in a certain a certain isolated way of living, because we are not open to a certain way of living also. So when I went into the field, when I really saw these people who were actually struggling to get clean water, it wasn't easy for me to also digest that this could be the situation. So there are people, and especially I'll give you an example. When this COVID thing happened, clean water was absolutely not available for people who are actually finding it anyways difficult to get water, right? So at those point in time, JanaJal actually ensured, which is the book talking about the enterprise, actually they ensured that the water reached to those what do you say, those nooks and corners, and those small spaces where not even an auto would go, right? Not even a rickshaw puller would go. So they were also providing water to such spaces. So in those times you realize how important is water, right? So I think the book was a really eye-opener in many ways, not just to me, but also because some of my students who were actually involved in in some of the projects that we did for JanaJal. So the students also went into the field in one of the projects, and because this whole journey is about 5 years, we've been doing a lot of things around that. The youth was also very, very sensitized to the fact that this is also world. So that's when we talk about one world, I mean, we are all a part of that, isn't it? So the youth also got empathetic about the fact that there is a certain section of society which also has the right to live, has the right to clean water. And that's where I think the whole empathetic part also came, not only just with me but also my students as well. And then I think so this is another thing which is like also the youth getting sensitized. And the third thing would be probably that I think rather than always blaming that this is not happening, that's not happening, and it's somebody else has to do it, the system is to be blamed and all that, there is one individual who rose up, right? So there is so rather than thinking about somebody else is going to do it for me, I'll do it for myself. right? So I'll do it for others. So that is what the whole book is talking about, an enterprise which stood up for all of us and which actually carried out the mission. So an individual can actually make that big an impact, which was very, very, heartening to see. So I think the power of individual, action, the power of individual turning into collective action, the power of community development, the power of youth empowerment, I think all of that, all of these were wonderful experiences for me. Thank you.
I would say that it may scale or it may scale like a domino effect in future. And
Amen.
with water, sure, ma'am. I suppose that with water scarcity and sustainability issues going on around the world these days, impacting billions of lives worldwide, these effects can be very much helpful if people are getting known from ma'am's work. And ma'am's book can be more timely and important at such an hour of this world where the sustainability is going off the roof. The need for sustainability is shooting like anything. So ma'am's work is like immense for help for the people and for the youth. And I would thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
for
much
being here and giving us these insightful informations about your book.
Thank you so much. Absolutely my pleasure. And please read the book. I would love to have
Sure,
your
ma'am.
feedback. Thank you.